Today's riff tutorial is going to be doing the song Kisses by Slowdive. Nice ambient shoegaze new song. Had lots of requests to do not only the riff but a patch tutorial on how I craft the tone. So I'm going to do this video in two parts. The first part we'll just do how to play the riff, and then the second half I'll switch up the screen, bring up the Helix full size, and we'll run through how I do the patch. So first things first, we'll take a quick listen to the opening riff. So this opening riff, tuning is in E standard, playing one of my custom Jazzmaster style guitars, starting on the middle position, which is neck and bridge pickup, to get kind of scooped, hollow, sparkly sound. So the opening riff. Again, E standard, we're starting on the G string on the 4th fret, B string on the 5th fret, and then E string on the 2nd fret. And then we're dropping down to 2nd fret on the G string, 3rd fret on the B string, and then open on the E string. So then we're adding the 4th fret on the D string. So again, 4, 2, 3. Then we're going open 2, 2. So from the beginning again. That's it. Next part. So this part, switching off of the neck pickup and switching on just the middle pickup. If you don't have 3 pickups, a neck pickup would do. You just need something a little bit more warm, a little bit more woody, less sparkly. So this is on the D string. We're just playing 2nd fret, open, 4, 2. So yeah. And then again, back to that exact same part, switching back to sparkly middle position. Next part goes super ambient, so I have 2 snaps on this patch, and then I switch to something with a lot more reverb. Yeah, and that's. So this part of the song, we're on the G string, starting on the 4th fret, 2nd fret, then we're sliding up to 7th fret. So that little riff at the end there, so you're going 4, 2, 7, 6, and then the end you're going 7, 9, 7 on the B string, then 9, 7 on the G string, and then 6. Kisses by Slowdive. Now we'll jump into how the patch is made. Alright, hopefully this is a little bit better. Should be able to see my whole Helix screen. What am I running? So, running a Jazzmaster guitar, super bright Fender style sparkly pickups, custom hand wound, a little bit more bassy. So if you're downloading this patch from my free shares, you'll have to tweak the EQs a little bit to match your guitar pickups, whatever you're using. First thing I'm running is an EQ, and again, this is just to tame some of the high end from this guitar, boost some of the mids and the low end. The next thing I'm running is a deluxe compressor. So this just helps to squash the sound, sort of even out some of the spank these pickups. I'm not running it super aggressive, and I'm actually only running it at about a 72% mix. So it's not fully there. So you get some of the natural attack and decay of the guitar with the compression that sort of ducks in behind, which is kind of a way I really like to do it. Got a distortion in here that I'm not using at all in this patch actually. I've got a second EQ post distortion or post compressor. Again, just boosting some frequencies that I want to hear before I hit the amp. And this amp that I'm using the Cali Texas Channel 1 in the Helix. So this is based off the Mesa Lone Star amp. Big fan of it. Kind of a modern blackface style amp. Running it at sort of mid-ish gain, drive, boosting some mid and treble, not a ton of bass presence. I want it to be super sparkly to cut through the reverb. I'm taking this amp, I'm running it through stereo cabs. I'm using stock Helix cabs, two really bright kind of sparkly cabs that are in there. On one side I'm using the 412 greenback cab using a 906 dynamic mic. Pretty close to the comb, pretty close to the speaker, directly on, just putting on a little bit of high cut. And on the other side I'm using the 212 V30, so this is the orange 212 V30 cab, using the 67 condenser mic, again centered, pulling it back quite a ways to get a little bit more space. Just using the warmth of the condenser mic to kind of offset some of the harshness of the V30. And that's how I get a lot of the sparkle and spank out of this Mesa Lone Star amp. So after that, I'm running it again into another compressor. This is a post-amp compression. This is just to sort of level out the tones and sort of bring out the amp specifically. I've got the volume pedal that I'm running. Don't use it all in this patch. I've got a parametric EQ. Most important things you'll notice is the mid frequency at 4.5 kilohertz and the high frequency at 5.8 kilohertz. So those two I'm knocking down with a really a high Q value is a really narrow band. I'm essentially just spiking down some harsh frequencies that I'm getting out of the cab and the amp, just to kind of tame some of that stuff, so it's not too harsh and abrasive right in the face, as well as a little bit of a high cut as well. Again, I've got another EQ post amp, so this is kind of boosting some of the lower mids, just giving a little bit more body, pulling down some of the highs. And here is the sort of meat of the tone, the transistor tape delay. So you hear that opening riff. You can hear the quarter note delays coming in. They're pretty precise. I'll just switch back to the other snap. You can hear it a lot better in there. So they're actually, they have quite a bit of wow and flutter, so I wanted some sort of modulation to give it some ambient space. Again, quarter note, lots of feedback, heavy on the mix. I'm running this amp, the level output pretty hot, so I have to crank the headroom up to 12 because I don't want any distortion to come off of this delay. And that's, yeah, pretty much the meat of the tone. So if you killed the reverb, all these EQs, um, you know, you're just really just going to be hearing the delay. And there, without the reverb, you can hear just how much modulation is on that delay. So I run that into the dynamic hall reverb, and this is sort of where I'm getting the big spacey sound. So that's with the reverb, again without reverb. And we'll do the reverb without the delay, just so you can see what the reverb sounds by itself. Still sounds great, but the delay just adds that percussive part of the riff. So I'm running a big decay, 7 seconds, almost no pre-delay. I want the reverb to be super wet. I don't want the guitar to sort of poke through almost at all. So 1 second pre-delay, big room size, 30 meters. Diffusion, damping, motion. This motion is sort of the modulation in the reverb. High cut, I've got a lot of the highs sort of pulled down. I don't want because I'm running the mix and the reverb so high, I don't want it to be super bright and sparkly. And I'm just cutting a little bit of lows, and that's about it. Running the mix pretty high, almost 50%, so 45%. So that's the main one. And in the second snap, clean ambient quarter note plus, I add in a second reverb, and this is the glitz reverb. So we'll see what this one sounds like by itself. Now when I stack that into the hall, you can see the hall just sort of, I get most of the decay and the trails from the hall reverb. The glitz is just there to add some of the sort of high sparkle and the modulation to that tone. And then, yeah, when we run the delay into the glitz into the hall, you get sort of the chorus tone. Lots of bloom, lots of decay, just super wet reverb. The glitz I have, yeah, again, the pre-delay at 1 millisecond, so essentially nothing, right? Long decay. Cutting a lot of the highs out. I don't want it to be super bright. It's got to be a super mellow, sort of pulled back, muted reverb, especially with a sparky guitar. High mix, yeah, and the depth of the modulation is pretty high. I want it to be, I have a lot of modulation, but I don't want the mix super high. I didn't want it to be like a big vibrato or a big chorus sound. So the mix is pretty low, but when it is there, it's relatively extreme. So that's pretty much it. That's the patch rundown for Kisses. You can download the Helix patch for free from my share. Yeah, the amp, Cali, Texas Channel 1. Fantastic amp if you're into anything. It'll do it all. There it is.